Welcome to the DuAl podcast. I'm Duncan.
And I'm Alex.
Today we have a good one for you. We're going to be talking about horror games.
Yeah. Happy Halloween, I
Yeah.
guess, would be a pretty good thing to start with.
By the time this one's out, it's probably going to be a week before Halloween. I think Halloween's on a Thursday this year.
Yeah, and especially since I think with the way our schedule works, it would have been an even better idea if we waited till next week, because then we would have gotten an episode out on Halloween.
That would be pretty spooky if we managed to do that.
Man, it would have been a whole lot better if we were
we thought ahead.
if we were competent. That'd be so great.
That would be so nice.
Damn.
But we're actually going to be talking about horror games today. What makes them, any good horror games that we liked, and just how they stuck with us.
Yeah, just a lot of like neat stuff we kind of found while we were looking into this.
Yeah, Alex, you got any good horror games? I know you do.
So, I think the best way that we should probably start with this is our connection to horror games. So, like, for me, sorry, I probably should be a little closer to the mic like this. I can't keep. Anyways,
You gotta breathe away from the mic like in Chocolate Rain.
right? Chocolate rain. Hell yeah. For me personally, horror games was actually a very vital part of my like gaming career, mostly because of the fact that, one of the first games that I ever even played was a horror game. And also like, one of my, at least in my top 5 favorite games of all time is Dead Space.
Yeah, I can tell by looking at a monolith and Isaac Clarke's helmet over there.
Oh yeah. Let's not forget the $350 deluxe edition for the
$350 for a deluxe edition?
I think that's what I paid, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
I that's the last game I've ever pre-ordered too. I can't say that's like, I'm flexing or anything, because the game only came out like a year ago.
Oh, for the remaster?
Yeah.
Nice. I haven't pre-ordered a game.
Oh, dude, the first Dead Space game came out in 2008. You know
That makes sense. That makes sense.
How old were we in 2008, Duncan?
I was 7.
Exactly.
We
You
were
think
both
I'm paying $350 in 2008? What else happened in 2008, Duncan?
Was it Modern Warfare 2 or 3?
The housing market crash, the
Hey.
recession.
Hey, I'm just saying, I didn't have any gaming console till I was older, so money I didn't worry about anyway. For
Well,
wine.
I mean, I'm in the same boat.
I
too.
didn't worry about buying anything anyway, so.
True. Okay. Yeah. But in any case, yeah, I really, 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 really like horror games. Resident Evil, Dead Space. Me being in my early 20s right now, I grew up with Five Nights at Freddy's. As much as I don't think that series should be where it is right now, but that's
it's
another
something
topic.
something I'm definitely talking about this episode though.
Oh, for sure, sure.
Myself personally, I've never really had any horror games. I've had my run-in with some, and I guess one of them on my list, surprisingly, would be Call of Duty World at War. You might not think
You'd consider that a horror game?
not just the zombies.
Oh, okay.
Because
Okay,
the
yeah.
zombies back then, far different from what it is now. Just like at Five Nights at Freddy's, it's a lot different from where it came from.
Oh, for sure.
But I guess this is gonna be like the first topic we bring up is just imagine playing World at War in 2008. I'm pretty sure that's when it came out. Yeah, 2008.
Oh man, yeah.
I think it was 2008. But
Imagine finding out about that the first time.
that's what I was gonna say. Like you just beat the campaign. You're like,
Yeah.
oh wow, this is
Like, that was a crazy campaign. We stormed Berlin.
we stormed
everything.
Berlin. Chernov
And
just
then-
died.
And then you get to the main menu and it's just, what's this extra option I just got?
No, it's not an extra option.
What, it's not?
It was not an extra option. You go through the credits, and then you get this extra cutscene. It was like it was doing what Marvel was doing.
Oh,
And so
really?
it's just, you wake up with a crashed plane barely out of view, and you're trying to figure out what exactly is going on, and you can see figures running up towards you. And at first thought, at the time, you're probably just like, oh, people are just coming to check on me, or maybe it's the Nazis coming to see why there's a plane crash or whatever. And then you come to find out it's zombies. And then it just says Nazi zombies with eerie music, and you just load up into a game right after you finish the campaign, and you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Really?
Mhm.
I never beat the World of War campaign.
Could have sworn we played it together.
We played it together, but I don't think we finished it.
Maybe, I don't know. That campaign was fun though. I love playing that campaign.
We should play it eventually.
We should do it again. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be super fun.
But that at the time that was very terrifying, and the game itself with eerie atmospheres and just being close knit or just close quarters all the time.
Yeah, just how what would that be? How claustrophobic every map felt.
Yeah, I mean, especially with coming to find out like how the game works, and you're just
I think-
you have to fight to survive. There's no end game. It's just you go for as long as you can until you are dead.
Right. I think one of the things about the Nazi zombies in its first instance with World at War that really played to its advantage was one, the claustrophobic maps, but also how they were laid out too. Like, what was the name of the very first map that you played?
It was Nectar on Toten.
Yeah, Nocturne and Toten. Yeah, that layout is fucking iconic at this point.
Yeah,
And the reason for it is because it's almost a perfect zombies map. Like with how they have designed the mechanics of that game mode, I would say that's damn near like perfect.
yeah, and the thing is like people will always complain about reused assets, and sometimes it's warranted. But for zombies, especially starting off with that map, it was perfecly made for it. I mean, there was a multiplayer map. I think it was Airbase or whatever it was called, and then one of the missions in the campaign, the same building's there. It's not the same layout, but the same building is there, and they reused it. But it's still terrifying.
For sure. Yeah. I think it's just really cool how, well, not that it's the cool factor in and of itself, but it also really shows how well a map can be made with reused assets. Because reused assets doesn't immediately make a map feel or make a map bad, I guess, just to say.
It's how it's used.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's how you use it, and I think with how the Nazi zombies maps were kind of had like their own narrative at the time. It was just kind of like, how is it? It's like an alternate universe or something like that.
Well, at the time, it was a secret project that Treyarch was working on that a lot of like Activision didn't even know it was in the game until someone discovered it. And
you're talking about the game mode itself?
The game mode itself was secret until someone after the game release discovered it.
No shit.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I mean, there was a story that formed later on. I mean, starting around like Shino Numa, because you had a different cast of characters. You had Dempsey, Nikolai, Richtofen, and Takio. And that's where it kind of started taking off from.
Did you not play as those characters in Knock?
No, not the first two.
Really?
Well, in Black Ops 1 you do, but like...
Well, in Black Ops 1, yeah, but we're talking about World at War.
World at War, no, you're just 4 Marines.
No way.
Yeah, both Verrucht and Nacht. I
did not know this.
It gets explained more through like radios and all that later on.
Is Tank perhaps one of the Marines from one of these maps?
He's one of them in Verrucht, but that's not known. Like it wasn't. They didn't even think about it at the time.
That's like a fun fact that came out later.
Yeah, like this guy was Tank, and at the time he wasn't even.
He was just a generic Marine. Yeah, it's similar to like in you know how in Star Wars Episode 6 there were people saying that like in Return of the Jedi in the Endor scene there was one rebel with a beard, like a white beard.
Rex.
Yeah, and everyone was saying now because of like everything that's happened, that's Captain Rex now.
They confirmed it to be Rex too.
Did they really?
They did.
I did not know this. Mm-hmm. I thought they actually said that isn't.
It is. It's in another cartoon on Disney Plus. Not promoted, actually. Fuck Disney, but
yeah, I pirate all their shit now.
But yeah, it was confirmed in one of their animations.
Oh shit, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, that's literally just like, but the thing that's so cool about like horror gaming in general is just think about that. We're almost 10 minutes into this episode, just fucking head to toe in just Call of Duty Zombies.
Just Call of Duty.
That is literally like a drop in the pool of horror.
And you wouldn't even think it as a Call of Duty because
no, and that's literally it too. It's not even its own game at this point. It's just a category, but it has such an influence, and it's got such a good. It resonated so well with us as gamers.
Oh yeah.
God, I really hope Black Ops 6 is good, man. I really hope it's good.
Me too. Speaking of which, if you guys are watching this on Thursday, what is it?
What would that be?
What day would this Thursday be?
The 24th.
All right. Well, I guess it makes sense. I knew Friday. On Friday, We're going to be playing Black Ops 6.
You fucking dunce.
We're going to be live streaming. We're going to be trying to go world's first on the Easter egg.
Yeah. Yep. I'm at the very least. I'm going to be on live
gonna be
streaming
cannon
the
fodder.
second it launches. Probably not going to start achieving doing anything because I'm not about that life. But I'm at least going to, dude. I love that multiplayer.
The multiplayer was fun.
That multiplayer is so fucking fun, dude. That might replace Halo for me. And I never thought I would say a Call of Duty would do that.
It's the movement definitely gets a lot sweatier now,
Mhm.
but I don't mind it in this one.
I think the reason why I don't mind it in this, just a little bit of a side tangent real quick, is the reason why I think I really don't mind it is because it feels like it makes sense at this point. You know what I mean? Like when
it's
you're engaging
really good
somebody
for
and
it.
you're like, and you get like dolphin dived on. In the other games, it felt sort of like, I don't know, maybe glitchy isn't the right
The
word for
dolphin
it.
dive felt
Excuse me.
nerfed. It didn't feel right
No, but like
or fluid. But at the time of when you could dolphin dive, it felt
I don't know.
proper.
In my opinion, like with the way Omni movement works and everything like that, everyone feels more like on an even playing field. I don't know really how to explain it.
I just love tossing my body to the side or jumping off a ledge, dolphin diving.
Not to mention
that's
too,
just
that's
really fun.
This is just fun, dude. I love Max Payne on the PS2. I just get to relive my Max Payne memories.
I'm really curious to see how the Omni movement works in the zombies.
Dude, yeah.
I don't think it's going to be utilized well. It's just going to be more of
I'm just more curious how it'll work around, like if the AI of the zombies actually ever do respond to the Omni movement, or if they haven't.
or maybe in the maps
Yeah.
where like there will be ledges you can now jump off of and dolphin dive off of to get away from them quicker instead of just having to have that thin door you have to get through.
Oh, maybe. Well, I guess we'll find out in a couple days, huh?
I'm real excited.
Yeah, dude. But one of the more interesting things that I found out while I was looking more into this was have you ever really thought about like, I don't know, maybe like the first horror video game ever made?
I think you were talking to me about it before.
Yeah, I was talking to you about this a little bit today, but it's actually got quite an interesting how would you put it? An interesting story to it. So, just to be completely upfront, the very first horror video game is called what was it called? It was called Haunted House, which came out in 1972. Do you want to know what it came out on?
Yes, I would actually love to know what that came out on.
Let me know if you know what this is. It came out on the Magnavox Odyssey.
I've never heard of that.
The Magnavox Odyssey was the first commercial home video game console.
I'm going to look that up right now.
The hardware was designed by a small team led by Ralph H. Baer at Sanders Associates, while Magnavox completed development and released it in the United States in September of '72. A horror video game was literally one of the first home video games.
That is pretty interesting. I'm trying
That
to watch
is
a video
insane
about it right
to
now.
me.
I'm tired of looking at these people just set it up. I just want to see the game played. And it's crazy to think about because, like you said,
1972
as a video game. I mean, watching it right now.
What is that? That's 52 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it right now, it's like that's so crazy. They had a whole thing to put over your TV,
Mm-hmm.
and what am I looking at? They have cards.
Dude, look at those fucking controllers.
That's a controller.
That is a controller.
I'll probably
You
try
wanna-
and
here-
we'll get photos up if you're watching.
Here's
this,
an
but
even more crazy thing that I found out. You want to know how much it costs?
$20.
So in 1972, the Magnavox Odyssey at launch was $99.95,
Oh,
$100.72. You want to know how much it is in today's day and age?
how much?
$730 in US. 52
For
years later.
That is crazy.
That is a 700% markup. I really hope that's right. Somebody's probably gonna fucking.
Someone's gonna do the math and they're gonna shun us.
Actually, it's a
Oh,
46.24. Yeah.
Waving our fingers over here.
But yeah, dude, that blew my fucking mind when I saw that.
Like I said, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, or listening to it, I'd recommend looking at your screen right now and looking how would I put this? How devolved this video game is, because they have something they put on the screen and there's colors.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
Yep.
And the controller, just like you put cards on it.
Night.
And I mean, saying this from a guy who's in his early 20s, you say, "Oh, I would just never understand older technology," because I mean that was 50 some odd years ago.
52 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, that's not so. I never even
As
heard
of
about it
last
until now.
month, it was 52 years ago.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Right, dude? But just that shows you exactly how, I don't know, I think it's interesting how we as a species really fall into the love of horror and like horror related themes.
Yeah,
Because,
I mean,
like-
how long have we had? What's the first horror movie?
The first horror movie?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, just think about it, dude. Fucking the original Frankenstein is technically a horror movie.
And I guess you can say like old tales that people would tell, be like, dragons and stuff.
That's what I'm saying, dude. We as a species are so infatuated with that theme.
We like to be scared.
Yes. I think to dive a little more deep into it, I think it's we as a species love to show our emotions. Because like at the end of the day, when being a horror fan, no matter how scared you're going to get, nothing is coming after you. Nothing is going to get you. But just the thought of that being even in some parallel abstract universe a reality, that in and of itself is a terrifying thought.
Which is funny because as children we're very impressionable, and I would always think of it happening. Like,
Also, a quick update. The very first horror movie was a film called Les Manoirs du Diable. Came out in the 1890s.
1890s, a silent film.
Probably
I
the
can
kind of
only
film.
imagine.
Can you imagine a horror film like that? And it's one of those films that has the dude with the piano off to the side. Like,
I can imagine
what's
like
going to
this,
happen? Oh, you don't know. It's dark. It's abstract.
or like one of those silent films where the guy just jumps, points, and there's no music, or it's only the ragtime music, and it's like, oh no, what's that? And it's just text.
Silent. It's a silent film, and a dude is getting cut up or something, and he's like flailing about, and then it goes to a subtext screen, and it's just a
All lowercase.
H.
I would love to watch something like that. If there's something out there like that, which I'd have to check and see if that
Man,
is.
I'd
I
love
would
to be
see
around
that.
during the 1890s.
I wouldn't.
Anyways, but yeah, man, it's incredible just how much of a history it has.
Yeah, kind of going off what I was saying earlier, saying how like children were impressionable, because you were saying like how people like to feel their feelings with like the horror and stuff,
Mhm.
and how we know it's not real, but it's still scary.
Mhm.
As a child, I was terrified of Chucky.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, never watched it. It's not just because it terrifies me anymore, but it's just, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch it right now, which I probably should.
I'd just like to turn back into the subject of like gaming in itself. Is just like that's kind of one of the main reasons why I love Dead Space so much, is because that was one of the first games to my own memory where I loved the game so much because I was so infatuated with its lore and the gameplay and everything, but it fucking terrified me.
Yeah,
I had nightmares about that fucking game till I was a teenager, dude.
Yeah, the World at War zombies definitely scared me too.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that
I mean,
too.
At the
too.
time, like that's 2008. I'm 7, 8 years old.
Mhm.
Zombies are scary.
I started with Black Ops Zombies, but I know exactly what you mean. Just like starting that game mode and then getting into the piano of it all, I sometimes I couldn't get past the menu.
Yeah,
It was terrifying.
especially World at War's like just main menu itself with the eerie music, the Russian lady singing in the back. It's terrifying.
It's super eerie, and then as soon as you start a map too, it's just so.
Oh.
The only thing that made it more settling was the stupid things that your characters would say or something like that. Like I
Oh,
loved when
yeah.
I played as I think it was Dempsey. It's just, oh, no power. Where's the vodka?
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's Nikolai.
That is Nikolai.
That's
okay.
Nikolai. That's
Like
the
I said,
Russian.
I'm a Halo guy. I don't fucking
Yeah.
play COD. But like I said, if Black Ops 6 is any good, I will be.
You will be.
I
It
fucking-
better be.
I will be. But Halo Infinite still has my heart to a degree. I won't die on that hill.
Halo 3 all the way.
I really hope.
Going back
we-
to impressionable things, though. What'd you have to say?
Can we please talk like just a 1 minute real quick about Halo Studios?
Oh yeah, that's new. That's new after our last.
Yeah,
video.
man. I think, considering the kind of content we make and the kind of gamers that we are, that I think it's a very valuable subject
And
to
it's
talk
going to be
about.
a real quick subject.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay on to them,
Just a minute about it. But like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, the 343 killed themselves and they reincarnated into Halo Studios. They are no longer named after the enemy that tried to kill John Halo.
Yeah, now they're named after the franchise that they bought.
They are now named after the killing ring, the death ring.
Yeah, they're now named after a weapon. Holy shit, Halo Studios has similarities to Tech 9 now.
Interesting. I
And
didn't think about that.
But
Anyway.
in any other case, I just think it's so incredible to see that even happening. Because I honestly thought Microsoft was going to let Halo die.
Seeing it in Unreal Engine 5, I mean, it raised my hopes. I know they're
it
going to
gives me-
remake Halo Combat Evolved. I know that they had the Blightlands, which is probably going to be the reintroduction of the Flood again, which I'm really excited about. But I hope they also continue Halo Infinite's story.
I don't think they will. As much as I would love if they continued the story too, but I just don't think they will.
You mean to tell me you introduced time travel and you won't continue that?
I think that's why they won't, because time travel in itself as a story implement is a very hit or miss subject.
That is true.
Like, there's a reason why not a lot of storytellers even touch that subject. And it was even kind of mind-blowing that Marvel even had the balls.
They did a good job with it, though. I'm not upset about it.
They're one of the very few cases where it works.
I'm just hoping Halo will not go into the multiverse. If it touches that, I'm done.
The thing that I'm hoping for is I'm hoping with how they're approaching Halo now as a title and as an IP, that we get more consistent content over time. Because the one thing that we as a Halo community, well, two things that we as a Halo community have been yelling for the last decade now are what? I'll give you a hint. A certain Halo 3, I can't say this word.
Halo 3 anniversary. Speaking of,
No,
not even that.
Well, that is one of them.
That's something
That is
like
one of them.
with,
The
with, like,
anniversary.
yeah.
Spin-offs.
Yes, I was gonna say spin-offs as well, which reminds me, it also goes back to the horror element.
Yeah.
Branching sickness.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I know that it's still in the works, and this isn't Microsoft official, but
Mhm.
there's people working on the game.
It is a completely fan-made game.
Yeah,
They are making this for absolutely no profit, and anybody who is developing this game is out of pure passion. It is a passion project,
yeah.
and it will be. And as we're actually members on the Discord, so we like to pay attention to this stuff because we want to play it too.
Speaking of Halo and branching sickness,
Just real quick, the thing about it is just I'm just saying that what was it? Oh fuck! I lost my train of
you
thought.
lost your train.
I
of thought.
apologize. Go ahead.
All right, but with branching sickness in Halo, I guess along with the horror elements of things, how bad did the flood scare you?
The Flood scared me about as bad as the Necromorphs from Dead Space, because they were, on paper, essentially the same concept.
Yeah, on paper, but on screen, it was just more of because like when I'm older now and I think about it, like it's a terrifying thing. It like the flood in itself,
For sure.
it's a parasite that can completely mutate and take over your body,
It modifies you down to the cellular level.
and that's terrifying. But as a kid, I just saw it as zombies, scary.
Yeah, that's kind of how I saw it too when I was first playing Halo. Like I pretty much summed them up in the same group as zombies from Nazi Zombies.
Yeah.
But growing up now and quite literally trying to be a Halo lore master at this point now, shout outs to my most recent videos, but it's so crazy what the Flood actually is as a parasite. Like it's got more similarities to like the Thing from The Thing.
The Thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking
John
of-
Carpenter's The Thing more specifically.
We should definitely watch that together. I've not seen that yet.
Dude, that's my favorite horror movie of all time.
Keith David's in it. He also wields a flamethrower.
He is in it, yes. and his lines, and also I think he's the thing at the end.
I
You won't know what that means until we watch the film.
Yeah, I mean, it's been out forever now. I don't care about spoilers, but he also is in Halo 3 and also wields a flamethrower. Interesting fact.
Keith David?
Arbiter.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
technically.
So I wonder if that's like a callback.
No, I don't think that's. I think that's a good. I think that's a happy coincidence.
A happy coincidence?
For sure.
Maybe.
Yeah,
We have to get Martin O'Donnell on the podcast. He knows everything Halo 3.
Oh my god, that would be incredible.
Everyone's doing a podcast with Martin O'Donnell. If you're here, if you listen to this, Martin O'Donnell, I love you.
We would be honored to have you as a guest.
Exactly. I love your music. And
that
also,
would have to be one of the very few times that we would have to do a Discord episode.
Yeah. How'd you get in talks with Steve Vai? Because I want to meet him.
I'll let you know. All right.
But
yeah, dude, it's so crazy.
Yeah, you were talking about Five Nights at Freddy's earlier, just as a small little thing.
Yeah.
And that's another one of my talking points. But
For sure.
I want to talk about one that came out before that. That kind of started kicking off the mascot horror.
Yeah.
Slenderman.
Oh,
do you remember that game?
Sure.
Slenderman, the 8 pages?
Yes.
So that was a creepypasta that came out in like 2009. And the first game, like Slender the 8 pages, didn't come out in like 2012. So a whole 3 years later.
Yeah. And even then, dude, that game in and of itself was a fucking powerhouse of a title.
Just the name Slenderman, because of the creepypasta. Yeah, the games.
The thing though about it is, it's not Slenderman itself that made it such a popular thing. Granted, it definitely was when it was discovered, but who made it discoverable? The same reason why we're on the platforms that we're on.
Yeah, 'cause
YouTubers.
People just talked about it.
People were playing it. They were recording it and they were playing it and they were getting terrified and it got popular.
Yeah.
The same reason how Five Nights at Freddy's got popular.
Exactly. All thanks to Markiplier. Thank you, Markiplier.
Kinda. Honestly, kind of. Look at the following he has.
Yeah, he really kicked off Five Nights at Freddy's.
Dude,
It would not be worth that without him.
His subscriber base is bigger than our state's population.
Is there really?
I think so.
Everyone in our state has probably subbed to him now that I think about it. It's not true because there's old people. Old people don't get on YouTube.
I very much doubt 407 is subscribed to Markiplier. I could
Maybe.
be wrong.
Could
I
be
could
wrong. You
absolutely
never
be
know.
wrong.
But yeah, that just the name Slenderman in itself was a big powerhouse in the early 2010s.
It really sucks that movie sucked.
It really sucked that some kids thought it was real. I mean, yeah, I was.
Oh, right, the case.
The case.
You want to talk about it?
Well,
I don't want to, but
Mayna's his girlfriend's over here. I'm pretty sure she seems pretty knowledgeable in it. Yep, there's a thumbs up.
You know what? Why don't you go ahead and tell our lovely audience about the case that Slenderman had essentially, I don't want to say created, but they were definitely inspired by it.
Well, Slenderman, for like I said earlier, kids are very impressionable at a young age. I was terrified of it just because I was like, oh, what if it's true? Because I'm young and the world is full of mysteries. It still is today, and there's a lot of stuff. I'm like, if it would say this is true, I'd be like, that's crazy. But when was this? Early mid 2010s when this happened.
I think it was 2010. I could be wrong.
It might have been out. I think it was after the game though, so it was 13, 14 maybe. I'll look it up. But there was a couple group of girls who do you have it pulled up? Alex's girlfriend has the whole thing pulled up. But group of girls who were going to sacrifice another. It was in 2014. That's what I thought. That was going to sacrifice another one in the name of Slenderman.
Right. That's right. Yeah, and I think the
girl survived.
I know. I remember all of this. Do you really don't think my girlfriend, who's into crime solving and stuff like that, hasn't told me about this case? Are you serious?
No, I figured she would have.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's how I found out about it. But I think actually,
I just remember hearing about it. My dad's like, don't be on the internet too much. You'll start believing this. And now I'm on the internet all the time, and now I start hating people more.
Right now you have a brand. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The thing that was so interesting about it is it's getting close, I believe, to the time that one of the girls is going to be released.
I think so. Yeah, I read something about that the other day.
Yeah.
Where she's going to be released
Either she's going to be released or has been released.
with certain terms, I believe.
Yes.
One of them, I think, has just been in an institution.
So one has been released and will be under supervision until the age of 37.
Under supervision till the age of 37.
And one has a life sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you try
Yeah,
and stab a girl.
I think it was the one that's on probation till they're 37 was an accomplice, and then the one who actually committed the assault was the one who's got life. I
Presumably.
think that's correct.
That would make sense.
That would make sense to me.
That's still so crazy how
Yeah,
impressionable
all of
children
that from
are.
a fucking creepypasta.
Like, oh yeah, this tall white guy in a suit told me to stab this girl.
You know what else is a creepypasta? Just to give you a perspective, Sanic.
Sanic EXE
Yeah,
or Jeff the Killer
or Jeff the Killer.
Smile Dog.
Holy fuck, Smile.
Smile Dog.
I'm sorry. Are we talking about horror gaming, or are we going back in time?
Yes,
I guess that's true.
because we're doing both.
Yeah, true. I mean, I brought up the 70s, so
Yeah,
You know what else was going on?
52 years ago.
you know what else was going on in 72?
What?
Vietnam. So like,
That's pretty scary.
yeah, I'm not much better. So, anyways.
Anyways, yeah, Slender Man was a big powerhouse. It wasn't. Not as big as Five Nights at Freddy's
No,
was.
not at all.
And I mean, Slender Man got a movie first, and it was pretty cruddy.
Yeah, but here's
it seems like there's was there a couple movies referencing Slender Man?
I don't know. I only know about the film.
I know about one of them.
Oh, actually, you know what? No, I think there was a film that was inspired by Slender Man, but it wasn't actually like about like a demonic creature that took children. It was a legend about a Slender Man that took children, but in reality, it was just a guy that takes kids from bad homes. Like nobody knew who he was, but like at the end of the film, the main character I'm remembering all of this from memory. I could be absolutely wrong, but the main girl or whatever gets taken by this man, and like the movie completely shows it's like she gets killed or whatever or not and everything like that. And then the film immediately skips to like a time jump where she's painting and she's all cleaned up.
And is she painting like the pictures?
Yeah, no, she's just like painting for the sake of painting, like because she's
Oh.
apparently creative, I guess, or something like that. And her foster mom comes over and tells her to get ready for school or whatnot. And it's all like, wasn't she just being hunted down a minute ago?
This just proves the point. Listen to your parents. Don't be bad kids.
Well, not like a bad home, not like bad kids in a bad
Oh,
home.
was it? They
No,
weren't
but
being
like-
bad?
No, but like an abusive home.
Oh, they were an abusive. home.
Yeah.
Oh, so Slender Man's the good guy.
Yeah, that was the twist. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, just those different kinds of mediums for it. But, I think Slender Man was definitely the inspiration that Scott Cawthon needed to make Five Nights at Freddy's to a degree. And the reason why I say that is because I don't think he understood the medium of gaming until Five Nights at Freddy's.
Well, the thing is, he had a couple of games out beforehand. One of which
I know.
Chipper and Sons, I think it was, is what really sparked it because of a bad review.
Right, but I think Five Nights at Freddy's is really what helped him develop as both a creator and as a developer. But also, I think Slender Man gave him the spark.
Yeah, and there was another one called The Desolate Hope.
Mhm.
That was also made by Scott Cawthon. That was I'm pretty sure that was another horror game that he made at the time, and none of his stuff was just taken off. But until he got a bad review on Shipper and Sons,
Mhm.
that's when he made Five Nights at Freddy's. And let me tell you how scary that was at the time.
Oh my
That
god!
was-
You don't even need to.
It was
20
terrifying. It was 2014.
2014. I was 12 years old.
Yeah, it just hit its decade this year, and they had a whole week
True,
spent up for all that.
Yeah.
But he redesigned the horror gameplay in
He
its
redefined
entirety.
the horror genre.
Yeah, pretty much. Because usually you'll have the games where, like we said earlier, you're in a claustrophobic space. You're walking around. You're trying to, escape or run somewhere,
Mhm.
and you're trying to get away from the danger. But what he did was he planted you. He super glued your butt to a seat. He gave you a resource management because you have to survive with power, and he has a danger come to you, and you can't go anywhere.
Right.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. The thing that was so neat about it is at the time, the biggest thing about horror gaming at the time was forcing the player to do things a person naturally wouldn't want to do. Ergo, fight zombies, or or undergo a horror sequence or anything, or like referring back to Dead Space, like ripping off somebody's head. Nobody wants to do that as a person. I'm sure there's those people that have those fucking hidden kinks or whatnot, but like a normal human being doesn't just have that thought.
Yeah.
So just the fact that that's just something you can just do now is very, I don't even know how to describe it.
I will say it gets very suspenseful very quickly, especially the longer you go on. Speaking of which,
so that was what I was trying to get at. Is it was so unique in the circumstance that in that time of gaming, it was about forcing the player to do things they normally didn't want to do.
you don't want to sit there and wait for them to come to you.
Yeah, and then that's how it got so flipped on its head. Is instead of doing things you don't want to do, it's forcing the player to do things they want to do for their survival.
Yeah, and over the years, it's definitely changed a bit, the horror aspect, because now more than ever, it's really about story. I mean, I know they're trying to go back to getting that horror element back into the games, because Security Breach really wasn't that scary. Neither was its DLC. I played it. I mean, yeah, it's darker, it's grittier, it's not bright luminescent lights like it was in the 80s in a giant mall.
Right.
But it wasn't as scary as, say, the first 4 games. Sister Location was suspenseful.
2 will always be the scariest Five Nights at Freddy's game to me.
It was scary, but it seemed more, I don't want to say lighthearted, but it was just more, how would I put it?
I think I think the story of the second game presents more horror aspects to it than the first game.
I mean, yeah, because in the first game, he really didn't have a story set out. He's like, oh yeah, there's missing children, and now there's animatronics that walk at night. I wonder what happened.
Right.
And then in the second game, it was like, oh yeah, this guy, he's purple. He just killed 5 children. Oh wait, now it's 6.
Well, yeah, that's why I really like the second game more than the first game in terms of both its story and its gameplay aspect. Is that the second game was one of those very few aspects in just making a sequel in general where I think it was better than the first in almost every category.
I agree.
It was more complicated. It developed the story more. It gave you more characters. It gave you more things to do. You had a bigger map to look at. It was literally a genuine upgrade from the last title.
It was bigger and better. And
that's also kind of why the third one sort of fell off to me, in my opinion, because then it felt like the game was regressing. I'm not saying the third game is bad at all, but it just kind of felt weird that with the scope of the third game, this was the third game.
Yeah. And he definitely upped it again in the fourth game, because it pretty much just felt like the first game,
like
but
it almost
harder.
like in my opinion, it almost felt like the first game was its own game, and then you have the second game, and then the third game is almost like a DLC to the second game, and then the fourth game is the true like trilogy for me.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. I'm sure some people do, some people don't, but that's just me. So. But yeah, man, just like Five Nights at Freddy's in general as an IP to the horror franchise or to the horror scene in gaming is an understatement.
Yeah, and just the game itself gave so many creators what they do now.
So many opportunities.
Like Markiplier, that's what really blew up for him, and he made the game blow up. And then there was Pat on Game Theory, because that's going to haunt him for the rest of his life until he dies.
Well, yeah, but I also think both of those examples would have been successful even without it, but it definitely spiked both.
Oh, yeah.
It was mutually beneficial for everyone in that sense.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, God, fucking Scott Cawthon, his great grandkids are set for life now. It's incredible.
Yeah. That level of succession just from a small indie horror game, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, dude. Can you imagine that in a decade's time, going from a small indie horror game you made in your free time to a console launch game with like voice actors and animations and everything? Like that must feel so incredible as a
He's
developer.
got a second movie in the works now.
I keep forgetting about the fact that he even has a film too.
He's got a film out, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
And now the second one is going to start. He's going to start filming it in like a couple days.
I'm really excited to see if this film is any good. Because,
Well,
we've
they-
already explained it a little bit in the last episode. The first film sits in a weird place for me.
Hopefully, it does the same thing like the first game because they're going off the games
Yeah.
and their own twist.
So if that's the case, this second film should be a prequel.
It's going to be a prequel.
Okay. Maybe that's what I need.
They had a teaser with Toy Freddy all oiled up. He looked like he just got out of a Diddy party.
Nice.
Going back to that. But yeah, it looks like he's all oiled up, standing behind a curtain. So I'm excited for it.
That'll be cool. That'll be super cool. I'm excited.
I'm going night one again.
Night one again. Hell yeah. Week one, actually. Oh, man. Yeah.
I haven't played any Outlast games. I know you played Outlast Trials.
I have played Outlast Trials.
Have you played any of the others?
I actually have. I've played the first Outlast game entirely. I beat it. That game is fucking scary. Just the entire idea of the game itself. You can't defend yourself in any way whatsoever.
No way whatsoever.
Not of any kind whatsoever. So everything you're doing is either running or hiding. You feel like such a bitch the entire fucking game.
The entirety of
The
it.
entire game. Because the only thing that you have is your fucking camera with the night vision on it, and you're just looking around trying to investigate what the fuck is going on at this asylum. And it's chaos. Fucking inmates are breaking out, guards are spread all over the place. It's chaos. And you're just over here like, I must find more.
Oh, look
and
at
you
this
just
little
go
rat
deeper.
on the floor.
Yeah, you literally fall 2 stories from this behemoth of a mutant. He literally looks like a super mutant. Like, just throws you 2 stories down the fucking asylum, and then you just wake up to this priest who just takes your shit and tells you some weird prophecy, and then you wake up and just go, I must find more. It's insanity. Literally, in the word, the game is complete insanity, and that's why it's so good.
I've only seen clips of it,
Mhm.
and I know, like I said, I know you played Outlast Trials. I didn't know if you played the others, but I figured you know more.
So that's what I was kind of getting to. I haven't played the second game. I've watched other people play it, and I've watched someone play the game entirely through. It is not even comparable. Not even comparable. It just feels like a diet Outlast.
A diet Outlast.
Yeah, it feels like everything is like reduced in a way. And then the story in the second game is a complete fucking joke because it's all written off by a single note.
Like a post-it note.
Like a single like note that you would find in game that would like show like extra lore or something about something that doesn't matter about the main story. Yeah, there's one single note in the game that completely breaks the entire story. Yep.
Interesting.
And then Outlast Trials comes out some years later after the disaster of the second game. I don't want to say disaster exactly because I know that game has its own fan base, but playing the first game myself and truly experiencing it for what it was, 2 was such a flop.
They had it so good.
They
and
did.
They messed it up.
They absolutely did. And then the Outlast Trials came out, and I played quite a little bit of it. And I played some of it even with our buddy Carlos, and I even have a video of it on my channel. And it's not really that I don't like the game exactly. It's just that it doesn't feel like Outlast.
Is it just like a multiplayer game where you can just do like I haven't?
It feels like an Outlast fan game.
That's what it seems like from the outside.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
I haven't
really
played
what
it
it
myself,
feels
but
like.
That's what it looks like.
It's absolutely what it feels like too. And that doesn't exactly make it a bad thing, but it just doesn't capture the same scariness of it. Like, it is scary, don't get me wrong, because you're being chased by things and you have no way to defend yourself, just like in the first game. But it's just not the same atmosphere. And obviously, a lot of things aren't as scary when you're with people.
Yeah, it's just a lot more fun.
Well, yeah, like just going back to Call of Duty Zombies. Imagine how terrified you were playing Noct for the very first time by yourself versus when you had a full squad.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't, because I don't know if like you would load in with the same squad, because like you can play 4 players on the campaign.
Well, I'm just saying, like, when you're playing, like, imagine when you played Call of Duty Zombies for the first time by yourself.
Yeah, that's
And
terrifying.
then, think about when you played Call of Duty Zombies with a couple buddies. Yes, it could be as scary, but it's not as scary because you're with friends.
Yeah, and I mean, even in real life, it's kind of like that too. Because like,
Yeah.
people go,
There's a
It's
reason
more-
why people get groups together to go to a haunted house.
yeah, it's just more funny. Like if
Well, for a lot of people, it is more funny, but for a lot of people who get scared easily, they don't get as scared when you're in a group.
yeah, I mean, I've been a haunted house before, and some of them just were great, or I'm just like I get easily scared, but maybe they were just bad at scaring. But I was scaring people, and I paid to be there.
I just really have an issue with people touching me. I don't like that shit.
I'm on my way, baby girl.
I'm sorry, but if you're gonna touch me in a way that feels like assault, I'm gonna put a bullet in you. Sorry.
A little kid. Hey, sir, can you help? Bam!
Tugs on my fucking shirt. What was that, bitch?
You trying to?
That sounds like assault. Oh my god.
gosh!
Now that's truly horror.
It's going along with the being alone.
Mhm.
I don't know if you played any of the Amnesia games. I've played one recently, Amnesia the Bunker.
Yes, I remember your series.
Yeah, that one was terrifying. It was essentially you get amnesia, but it's set in World
No
War
way.
One. Yeah,
I just put that together. No fucking way.
in every game you get amnesia.
Who would have thunked?
Who would have thunk that was the premise of it?
Man, this is why I don't have my horror degree. I said degree just without the last E.
Oh, okay. But it takes place in World War One. The scary part
This
is
one game takes place during another game.
it's the scary part was all the grenades on Veteran.
Fuck, hey, dude.
But it takes place during World War One, and you're obviously a soldier. You're a French soldier.
Yep.
And you start off in the trenches, and you're trying to escape from the Germans. And at some point, you and your buddy Henry go out on patrol.
Henry.
Horny, and you go out on patrol, and then you guys get attacked
By something.
by you first get attacked by the Germans firing back at you.
Oh.
No, what ended up happening was that Henry was out on patrol. You go find him. You find him. He's in this ditch, and there's like a bunch of like floating rocks or whatever. And you give him some water to drink because he's been there for a while. And you come to find out at the end of the game, like you can find out that hole he was in, that water gave. Do you care about spoilers?
No.
Speaking of
Well,
spoilers,
just spoiler
well,
alert.
I'll just spoiler warning. The monster you fight throughout it is Henry, is your best friend, and he's the monster that tracks you throughout the entirety of the bunker. You give him the water, that's what turns him into the monster, and then on your way back of retrieving him, you get shot at. He pulls you back, and you're out, and you wake up in the bunker all alone in a dark room, and you try to just figure out what's going on. And at some point, like
Why
lights-
did the main character give him water like that? To infect him?
No, just to like refresh him, because I mean, if you're out there,
Yeah, but
Without
like,
any-
did the main character know that water would turn
he
him
had
into a
no
monster?
idea. He had no idea.
Oh.
He had no idea it would turn him into a monster. But you wake up in the medical area, lights off everywhere. So you're sneaking out already, trying to figure out how to like turn on the power, and you get like this flashlight. And the little flashlight's like when you wind up.
Oh, right.
So it gives it the energy.
Yep.
The bad part about that is that it causes sound. And you don't know, like this is just the beginning, you don't know that sound attracts the monster, but you can already get like a sense of uneasiness. You're like, it's dark,
Just
it's
the
quiet.
yeah, just
this
the
is
atmosphere of the game.
it's making a lot of noise. I probably shouldn't do that. So I mean, even within the first 20 minutes, you're like, this is already scary and I don't even know what I'm doing. But it's essentially just you, the monster, and a bunch of mutated rats. And you have to find your way to escape, essentially. And the first time you encounter the monster is you make your way into like the dining area and you find one of your fellow soldiers.
Mhm.
He's like laying there and he's like, I don't want this thing to get me. I want you to put me out of my misery. I won't let this monster kill me. You go grab some bullets, you come back, monster just yanks him, and that's the first time you see it. It's just this giant claw. And you don't see what it looks like. You just know that there's a claw and it's coming up.
With my KD ratio, I would have clocked his bitch ass.
You think it's easy, but I put a bunch of slugs into this
I know,
guy.
I know. I watched your series if you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I don't know if anyone actually watches me.
I watched the entire thing.
I hope it was entertaining. But anyway.
It was.
It was scary is what it
fucking
was.
fighting to keep that German soldier alive in the prison, that was so weird.
I was like, can I save him? Or can he just die? Like, I think it was scripted that he had to die regardless. But
Apparently, there's an achievement where you can save him.
Is there really?
Yeah, apparently. Like, you don't have to sacrifice him to the monster.
I mean, sacrifice, more of just like, I just watched it happen and then the monster came after me.
Yeah, but like if I don't know. I don't know.
But there's a lot of other aspects.
I'm just
too,
saying you didn't commit a war crime.
I didn't commit it because I didn't. I
Hey,
wasn't.
you know how the saying goes. It's not a war crime if you're the first one to do it. Anyways,
but like alongside with the with a flashlight that you wind up that makes noise, there's also other aspects that make it a lot more suspenseful because there's things you can craft. Like they're all over the place.
I think a crafting system should be considered a horror mechanic at this point.
It honestly should, because you have to manage your supplies, because like there's a bunch of sticks, cloth, fuel, and like a lot of it can be used for different things, like the fuel, the cloth, and the
well, okay, so going on to that subject, you're essentially talking about is a subgenre.
Thank you. Like you can make a bunch of different things, but you have to handle your supplies differently. I'm gonna hit you if you say anything.
Fucking kill you.
That's extreme, buddy. Anyway, you have to handle your supplies well, because like you can use the fuel for so many things, like torches, which can burn bodies and get rid of rats, or you can use the fuel for the generator, which powers up the entire area.
Right, with lights, right?
With lights it up.
Yeah.
Or you can like use the fuel for Molotovs, which also burns bodies. Or you can like grab the bottles, use those for sound distractions. And there's other items you can grab throughout the area too. It's just like wire cutters, keys, a gas mask, and just having to use all of that to try and escape. It's really scary. My favorite part about it is the ending.
Yeah.
Because when there's a couple, I think it's like just two endings, both which you escape. You escape once after defeating Henry the monster, and you fall into a ditch, and now you have to go back to the reality of that there's a war outside of this bunker.
Oh,
and
yeah, that's right. After
the
horror of everything you had to witness and encounter and deal with,
now you have the
to
horror
remind
of war.
yourself, oh yeah, I'm in a fucking war zone, by
You're
the way.
in a war zone. And the other ending is just like you escape and the monster also escapes. But either way, it's still the same ending.
I don't know
for your character.
What do you think is considered the good ending?
Killing the monster first, putting it out of his misery.
You know, I think I disagree with you. You know why? So, in the direction of that cutscene that the player was going, the player was looking at and heard the Germans yelling and running. Isn't that the same direction that the monster runs at the end of the game?
No, he runs the opposite way.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, so it comes out of the bunker. He looks down, runs that way. Germans come this way.
Oh, so he heads towards French lines?
He heads towards French. That's also a monster you're letting out loose.
Oh, I don't care that much about that. It's in a war zone. You really don't think it's not going to get blown up eventually?
It will not get blown up. I've tried blowing it up.
Do you know how minefields work?
I do know. I hope artillery can just completely eviscerate it, but I mean that water.
I 100% guarantee you it can. Do you know how heavy a howitzer is?
That water mutated him. It can probably give him a lot more powers.
I don't know.
Than just being obliterated by.
I think I'm going to keep going off the rule of if it's heavy, it does a lot of damage. That's why we have battleships.
He has special powers. He can probably do a lot of devastation. Because the good ending is killing him, putting him out of his misery.
No, I think it's better if he finishes his service. He enlisted, didn't he? Finish your term. You don't get to see that retirement. But to be fair,
retirement regardless.
To be fair, it was the First World War. I don't think very many of them were going to see their retirement anyway.
No, I mean they'll probably be gone by the end of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a horror game that I really enjoyed.
Yeah, I think I need to play that game eventually. think
I
it'd be a lot
recommend
of fun.
playing that one. I mean, they're all tied in somehow with all the other Amnesia games.
Yeah, it's all one giant universe, I've been told.
Yeah, but I'd highly recommend it.
For sure. I would recommend any of the games that we've talked about here in the game. Probably except Haunted House for the first console ever made. I mean, if you could find a port for it, I guess give it a try if you want.
Yeah, you might need the paper for it though, but
Pirate everything.
pirate everything.
Pirate everything.
There is one game that I guess you can play, but will never fully be released because it got canceled.
What's that?
PT.
Oh, right, the playtest.
Yes.
Yes, the
Well,
one
the
one Silent Hill game that was supposed to have Norman Reedus as the main character.
Mm-hmm.
The best Silent Hill that was never made. I believe it's always been called.
I believe so. Yeah. It was just a tech demo.
What a tech demo it was.
Yeah, it was, and I think I saw someone earlier today that they're recreating it right now.
I don't doubt it.
in
You want
Unreal Engine.
to know a fun fact about the playtest?
What?
So in the entirety that you're playing that game, right, you're being stalked by this weird ghost girl,
The entire time.
right? Like every time you follow her around the hall. But did you know that while you're playing the game, your character is being followed by this ghost girl at all times?
Yeah, the entire time.
The entire time.
That's terrifying.
Who thinks of that? It's like
Hideo Kojima?
you know what I think? I think that was what inspired the Bracken from Lethal Company.
That makes sense.
Because one of the very first things I learned about the Bracken is that it stalks its prey before it kills them. So while
Well, a
you're
lot of
walking,
things stalks its prey before.
but what I'm saying is, like, if you're like watching a player after you're dead, literally just watching the Bracken behind you is exactly what I think of when I learned about the ghost constantly following you throughout PT. It's crazy.
I think that playtest is still out there. I think people can still play it, but
People still can. The Game Grumps not too long ago replayed the game. It's actually quite a fun play.
interesting.
I think if we could find a way to play it, or at least maybe play the fan game of it, that would be such a cool fucking thing to do.
Yeah, I think we should just get together and just play horror games just one night.
For
all night.
sure.
That'd be so fun.
That would be so fun for sure.
Our neighbors might hate us.
It depends on how scared we actually get. Oh my god, dude. You, me, Alien Isolation.
Oh my gosh, I did that. Okay, when that game came out,
Yeah.
I don't know why we haven't talked about this entire
Dude,
time.
that is such a pinnacle of horror gaming to me. Alien Isolation. Holy shit.
They recently had another game, a Quiet Place game just came out.
Yeah.
And they also implemented the mic thing where if like you make a sound or if this one guy who farted too loud, the alien killed him.
That's awesome.
That's terrifying.
That is pretty awesome.
I'd be so screwed in a quiet place.
Oh my god, so would I. An asthmatic. After I'm done running from one place to the other, the second I wheeze, I'm dead. I'm
Yeah.
fucking dead. Or I couldn't even use my inhaler because that makes a noise.
If my glasses break, I'm screwed. I can't see. I can see like 5 inches in front of my face.
Dude, if I can't smoke a blunt, are you kidding me?
Man, these aliens, they got me fiending for another blunt.
Just these creature comforts you're talking about. Man, how am I supposed to sniff coke now? That makes noise.
Man, all the drug addicts are gonna have a problem too.
Man.
A lot of people are gonna be so screwed.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, man. Just what a franchise it all is.
Just horror games in general will always hold a place in somebody's heart somewhere.
It'll absolutely be in mine.
I donate. This cat is high on drugs right now.
Yeah, my cat just got some veterinary work done not too long ago, so he's not feeling too well. We love you, Donut. I wonder if they'll pick him up the purring.
I hope you guys can hear the purring. It's so nice.
That's just for you audio listeners right there. Just to let you know that Donut loves you.
The cat is very cute, but you guys can't see it. We won't make you see it.
No, we won't, but that's why we're a podcast.
Anyway, that was horror games.
Yeah.
Horror games we liked and enjoyed and things that actually scared the shit out of us.
Yeah, just horror gaming in general.
Yeah, they will. Horror gaming is going to be around for a very long time. I'm excited to see what the next big one is going to be.
I'm really curious to see what the next big franchise is. Like what the next FNAF is going to be.
I don't want it to be like another mascot horror like Poppy Playtime.
I think mascot horror has come and gone.
Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's is still staying around, but mascot horror in itself,
So the thing about that is, I don't even think that will. At least it
not
can't.
for much longer.
I just don't think it's the kind of franchise that can last forever.
No, I mean it's already been a decade. And like I said, the story is what really got people interested.
And they're really stretching it out at this point.
They honestly are. They need to have a conclusion at some point.
They do.
Scott, if you're listening to this, we require a solution soon.
Finish your damn stories.
Give Matt Pat to us. Free him. I know he's probably halfway through all the confirmed lore.
Hashtag free Matt Pat.
Free Matt Pat.
Hell yeah.
He's holding him hostage to teach him all of it, and he doesn't even want to learn it.
Here, how about this for our YouTube people listening and watching? If you've gotten this far in our podcast, why don't you go ahead and comment hashtag free Matt Pat to let us know that you've made it this far. If you have, we appreciate you and love you more than you could possibly know.
Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Next episode will be a little surprise for y'all.
Yeah, we got something special rolled up coming. So
yeah, it's rolled up nice and good, and when we unroll it, we think you'll probably think it's mediocre.
Probably mediocre at best.
Anyway,
Anyways,
guys.
thank you guys so much for listening to us. You can find our podcast anywhere on YouTube and Spotify. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe if you enjoy what we got going on here. And yeah, that's really it for us. Thank you.